Back at Shane's Rib Shack, it's basketball in focus for a Thursday night. Got the big Super Bowl coming up. Don't forget the Shane's. Be sure to get for Super Bowl 50. Get 50 wings at Shane's for Super Bowl 50. It's part of our motto tonight. Got Coach Thomas Griffis with us from the Grimsley Warriors. Coach, what is it now? 6-1 in the conference?
6-1.
Outstanding. Now you got the first place spot right now. Got a big game against Dudley tomorrow night.
Correct.
Coming off a big win against Page back on Tuesday. Talk about that win against Page, because the team was determined to get that win. You guys never got rattled. That's a good thing about it. You guys just stayed calm and stayed with your game.
Well, we talked about it in practice. We always say the game is a game of runs, and they made a run, and then we made ours, and then we kind of sustained it at the end. Tough ball game against a rivalry opponent. It's what you want.
Yeah, and you want to be sure you make that last run to get that win. You hit key free throws in that game too on the road at their place.
We did. We work on that quite a bit in practice, and the guys performed well.
You expected Page to give you a tougher game than they gave you at your place. You took pretty well care of Page over at Grimsley a couple weeks back, but you expected a tougher game this past Tuesday.
Yeah, they always say it's hard to beat a team 3 times in the season, especially an even match team, especially a rivalry team. So we knew that it was going to be a tough ball game.
That first game was close to an overtime game, wasn't it?
It went in overtime. It sure did.
Yeah, and beat them at the Hayco tournament then.
Sure did.
3 times out. Who knows? You may see him again.
You may see him again week after next.
You know, it's tough at the top right now in the Metro. The top 4 teams, it could be you guys, maybe number 1, maybe versus Page number 4. In the middle, you could have Dudley number 2. Could possibly have Smith number 3. A lot depends what happens the next couple of days. It's coming down fast. Tomorrow night, you got Dudley at your place, Page over at Smith. So those 4 teams are the tops right now.
That's correct. It really boils down to what happens over the next week, pretty much. That will determine who's in first, who's in second, third, or fourth. Really.
What about the first matchup with Dudley at their place?
We didn't start well. We did not start well at all. I think we missed 18 free throws. Missed quite a few layups, turnovers, and those small things. If you don't do them well, will kill you.
Yeah, we had seen you in that game against Page. You played so well that Friday night. You went over to Dudley the following Friday or close to it, and just didn't get off to a good start. Never seemed to come together that night.
It seemed like 2 different teams.
Yeah, it did. It did.
Yeah.
It seemed like you guys were playing last year. This year.
Right.
And this year's a different team, though, isn't it? I mean, you got a lot of the same guys, but they all seem to be pretty calm and pretty strong under pressure, and they don't seem to get rattled much. Plus, they seem to be the extra year's season seems to help this team. It don't seem like you have really any major superstars. You can't say that guy's going to take over the game, because everybody's pretty steady the way things are spread out now.
Yeah, a year makes a difference. That year of experience, some guys that played last year, that was their first time playing varsity. So that year under their belts helps them a lot this year.
You look at it, too, the way the team went from last year to this year, the way you're playing this year. You go back to that Page game, you had one of your key players, I think it was Jamie Williams, got hurt in that game, then somebody came in and stepped up. You went to Urquhart off the bench, he gave you some good minutes at guard. You don't really have any true position players as far as the spots go. Everybody kind of plays all 5 positions, and the 5th position is not really a key factor for your team.
That's correct. That's what you kind of want as a basketball team, as a basketball player, to be able to be versatile, to be able to handle the ball, shoot the ball, pass well. All those things are good to have as a ball player.
I tell you, Urquhart's seen a lot of pressure this year, but he's handling it pretty well.
Oh, yeah, he is. Nate's tough. We always pick on him. He does not really know how good he is. And so, and he's a sophomore, so within the next couple of years, you're going to see something real good.
He's getting some good experience. He's getting trapped in those sidelines some, too. He's kind of learning how to work through those sideline traps.
Exactly. We're going to need him to work through some sideline traps tomorrow night as well.
Definitely, because Dudley's going to come at you hard, because they've got some talent, and they beat you once already, so now they can beat you, and they got to beat you at your place. Could be a different story.
They actually beat us twice.
Yeah, they beat you at the Hayco, too?
They just at the Hayco, yes.
It's amazing to see these guys 3 or 4 times in a year maybe now.
Yep.
But what does, for Dudley, what presents such a tough obstacle to get over beating Dudley?
They play tough defense. They have a bunch of athletes, and it's always been a staple at Dudley. They play hard every play. And once you have a group of guys that's just going as hard as they can every time down the floor, it's tough to beat them.
And you think about Dudley, too, they're kind of like you in some ways. They don't have really a true number 5. They've got guys that play all different positions. One thing they do have with those different, they got length. They got pretty good length in those positions.
They do.
Yeah. But you got Hooker playing guard, man. Yes. He's a leaper. We saw him last Friday over at Smith. A dunk that, I don't know if it's shown up anywhere on any internet sites.
It has. My guys have shown it, too.
Yeah, that's amazing. That was a big one. And that actually got the fans, I still talk about that this week, got the fans out of the seats and jumped on the court. People were so pumped up after that dunk. Yeah, they jumped out of the stands, and they had to get them off the court, get them back in their seats.
Wow.
It was so wild. But that was a heck of a dunk. But then the funny thing about it was Smith came back with a dunk of their own. Tyrese Cheeks came back and dunked on the other end. So, I mean, it kind of shows you may have one big play, But, you know, that one big play might not make the game. And the thing about Hooker in that game, I'm just analyzing that game. We're talking about your team, too. But the thing in that game was he got hot in that third quarter, 14 points in the third quarter. But after that, Smith able to kind of stabilize him and shut him down in the fourth. And like we said before, it's not necessarily how you do during certain spurts. It's that last spurt that counts. And that finish of the game is so important.
Yes. A lot of times in the fourth quarter when we break our huddle, we say 1, 2, 3, finish. So you have to finish ball games. That's the most important thing.
And you got to finish plays, too. If you get a chance for a layup, you got to finish that layup. If you get a chance to come down court for a big pull-up shot, got to finish that shot. You got those 2 free throws or those free throws late, you got to finish those, too.
Got to finish.
And you got guys that are helping you off the bench, to mention Brannick and Dillard, and I think White. Those guys help you a lot off that bench.
They really do. Those are some young guys that have progressively gotten better throughout the course of the season, so now they're able to step in and give us a big boost when they come in the game.
Think about Nick Brannick and the same story for Dillard. Dillard, I think, got you 4 points or close to it against Page. He
did.
Big.
As a matter of fact, Dillard, at the beginning of the season, he wasn't seeing very many minutes at all, but he continued to work in practice, and now his minutes are starting to increase, and he's been very productive late in the ball game.
And these guys look like they realize their roles, too. They're not out there. I'm not out there to make a name for myself. I just want to help the team and do what I need to do while the guy I have replaced for a few minutes is on the bench getting a break.
It takes a lot of work to get them to that point. It really does, but the guys are starting to buy into what we're doing, and winning helps.
It does. I'm going to say that 6-1 makes a big difference. You see some results of your hard work. That makes a big difference when you come. What you guys do, you practice, you go to work each day. That's like going to work for a lot of people. Same thing with you guys.
That's correct.
You got practice today about 6:45?
Yes, we'll run over as soon as we leave here.
Gotcha. And the game tempo was to your favorite, I think, back on Tuesday. So you guys kind of set the tempo for the game, and to go to somebody else's place and kind of sees that tempo, sees the ball control of the game. That's big, too.
Yeah, we play a little junk zone. You have to slow Overton down. If he gets out in the open floor, you are in a world of hurt.
You're right.
So we try to get back on defense, spread the floor a little bit, contain him as much as we could. So that was in our favor.
And you saw some frustration on Overton's face, too. If you're the opposing team, you see him frustrated. That's a good thing.
That is a very good thing.
Mm-hmm. See him a little bit.
Thing.
And plus, hey, you may have mentioned already, the thing about it was, he got in foul trouble. He's on the bench. He's not hurting you over there.
He got in foul trouble. Yeah, I mean, he's tough to handle in the open floor. He really is.
And he still, I think, hadn't got it all back after last year and after football either. He hadn't got it all quite back yet. You can tell he's trying to be a basketball player again, but he's still not a full basketball player quite yet.
And at that, he's still dangerous.
Yeah, he is. He sure is.
At that, he's still dangerous.
Because if he's like any other guy. I mean, if he finds his rhythm, he can kill you.
That's correct.
He can kill you in a heartbeat. To win against Dudley and keep that first place spot, what must your team do?
Take care of the small things, play solid defense, and rebound the basketball. We always talk about doing the small things well. That makes big things happen. So we have to do those: rebound the basketball, close out on the shooters, and protect the ball on offense.
Now, you got to Grimsley. When you got to Grimsley, how did you turn this into a winning program instead of just going over to Grimsley to be the next basketball coach? Because you could have done that. You could have just came in, so I'm the basketball coach. We play about 25, 20 games, get the season done, move on. We get the season in between November 1st and March 1st, and then we go on to something else. But how did you come in and develop this into a program these guys can do something with?
All my life, I've been a competitor, man, and I love to win.
Yeah.
And so if I can instill that in my guys, that's my job.
When you were losing, how did that kind of build up in you? How were you able to control it and also be able to use it to your advantage?
It hurt. I'm telling the truth. It
had to be
hurt.
something different for you, because back at A&T, back in your day, I think you guys had, back in those old days we call them, you guys, some of those days, you were like 23, 24, winning 25 games.
Yeah, we won 4 straight conference championships. So, I mean, winning is what I like to do, and trying to instill that in the guys, it took a little patience. Losing hurts, but if you build on that, you can always learn something. There's always a teachable moment when you do lose. So just continue to work, continue to push, continue to instill in the guys a winning attitude even through losing. So I guess it's starting to pay off.
How about will the students be as psyched and pumped up tomorrow as they were for that Page game? Because that really helped. That night against Page, the student section was off the charts, over the top that night.
Yeah. I mean, it's always like that in the Page game. Hopefully, they see we're winning a few ball games now. They'll come out and support us. So, Grimsley fans, come on out.
Got to get them out tomorrow night. I was at the Sheets convenience store yesterday. They were doing something for the Grimsley PTSA. You'd say Grimsley, they got some kind of, I guess, some of the cut off the sales, make sure it did that. So a lot of Grimsley things are starting to happen around the neighborhood. Got a new football coach coming in. Coach Brown's going to be down there. And with this basketball team, you're bringing these guys around. Young team you got too, right? Not too many seniors.
Well, we actually have 9 seniors.
Is that many? Wow.
We have 9
no
seniors.
one would ever know, because Wiggins is a junior, Mitchell Urquhart's a sophomore,
Correct.
and a lot of the rest of the guys are seniors.
Yes, White is a sophomore. White is a sophomore as well. So, yeah, we have a few young young guys that are playing.
Got some young guys playing key minutes.
That's correct.
Yeah. What about with other players? Mason Moore, senior.
Mason is a senior.
And what about Inge?
Inge is a sophomore.
Wow, that's a good young core because Inge plays a lot.
That's the other. I knew it was another sophomore I was thinking about.
Yeah.
Inge, yeah.
Yeah, he plays a good spot because Inge is the kind of guy too who doesn't really, to me, it doesn't seem like he's looking to be recognized. He's just do the job. He goes out. Well, it's tough. There's been times at Grimsley over the years, some teams over the years. Sometimes you get a player when you take that guy out, you can just tell that guy he don't want to come out. He wants to stay. He feels like he's just to be in there. If a guy realizes you need to come out at that time, it's good.
He's doing a real good job controlling the team, being that coach on the floor. He's worked on it throughout the course of the season, and I even texted him the other night. He's doing an excellent job running our ball club.
So you got Inge, you got Wiggins, you mentioned Urquhart, you mentioned Jalen White. You got a lot of guys who've been around for a while.
Yes,
what about Dillard?
Dillard is a senior.
He's a senior. Okay.
He's a senior.
Well, he better get all the minutes he can. Do the best job he can. This is his time to shine.
Yep.
If you guys win the conference, that's what it's all about.
That's what it's all about.
What about some football news? Did the Carolina Panthers win the Super Bowl? And if so, what do you think the score is going to be?
I hope it's a whole lot to a little bit.
Let's see,
Carolina
a lot of offense.
Panthers.
Yeah, a lot of offense. What about, other than Cam Newton, who would win the MVP award for them when they win that game?
Depends on how Davis's arm is. You know, Kuechly is always going to be tough. He's always going to be there. But I think Davis might be an inspirational leader for them.
Yeah, just him on the field can make a big difference.
Yeah.
Even if he doesn't play every play, just being out there is going to get these guys motivated.
That's correct.
Just see what this guy's gone through, 3 of those ACL injuries. Now, with a broken arm playing, that's got to be motivation.
It will be. So I hope they do a good job.
What about in the politic field, the political field? Who do you think will be the next president? A lot going on this week with that. A lot of New Hampshire, a lot of Iowa. Who do you think will be the next man?
That's almost like our conference, man. It's in the air.
It's up in the air.
It's up in the air.
It's a 3 or 4 man race on the Republican side. It's a 2-person race on the Democrat side.
That's correct.
Who do you think?
Yeah.
Who are you going to vote for? That might be the question to answer that.
I don't know yet.
So who you would vote for would be the winner?
I don't know yet.
Still too soon to tell?
Still too soon.
It's kind of, some days it gets interesting because you got your sports you keep up, and then kind of the political thing kind of gets a little interesting on the side there too. Best basketball day of your life. You see that commercial on TV now, that little kid goes to school with that line from Food Line, and that little kid's had a great day with a line at school. He says, best day of my life. Best basketball day of your life.
Best basketball day of my life. Probably my junior year at North Carolina A&T when we beat Howard in Philadelphia in the conference championship.
And the Philly, was that in the Spectrum?
That was in the, yep, it was.
It's pretty big.
Yeah.
That is big. Where did you get your first dunk, or did you get your first dunk?
In practice, probably.
You got it?
Yeah.
You had one?
I had one.
Wow, that's amazing too in itself.
Yeah.
Wow. When did it come? Back in high school practice?
In high school practice.
Wow, dunked in then. Did you dunk any in the games?
No, I was after practice. You know how guys get after practice and practice.
Everybody starts going and see what they can do.
Yeah.
Wow, that had to feel good. Had to feel good. Will you send players to NCAA now since you got a chance, some guys maybe come to your program? Will you send guys over to A&T?
As many as I can. I would love to have as many guys go to A&T as possible.
Now they got Coach Joyner coaching there now, and took over Coach Alexander. You think there's any chance Coach Corbett might get that job during Corbett?
It would be nice.
It would be, because it'd be great, because
nice.
you came over from A&T to Grimsley. He went from Grimsley to A&T, so it's all connected. It's all a bond.
Nice. It would be.
Nice bond.
Yeah.
It'd be nice to see him get that chance. I guess you just have to wait and see. No college experience as a head coach, but plenty of experience as assistant coach and plenty of bloodlines.
Oh, yeah. His dad was a great coach.
Oh, man, he's your
Dad
man.
was a great coach.
He was your man. Who's your first player you're going to send us tonight?
We'll send Peter Rizzi.
Peter's up first. Okay. One of your captains, right?
Yeah, all 3 of them are captains.
Coach, thank you. We'll see you again tomorrow night at Grimsley. Hope to talk to you.